Shalom, today is December 4th, and it is day 59 since the war between Israel and Hamas has begun. Let's take a look to what Israelis are watching today, this evening, in their living rooms. Israel's at war. At this time, there are unusual attacks in Khan Yunis. Khan Yunis is the major city down in the Gaza Strip, in the southern part. We see in the videos the explosions, and it is assumed in Israel that Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, is there. This evening, we're with all the reporters around Israel on different fronts. Also, it's officially confirmed that 3 more soldiers were killed the last day. Ben Zusman, 22 years old, from Jerusalem. He's from the Combat Engineering Unit. Benjamin Yehoshua Nidham, 19 years old, from Zichron Yaakov, also from the Combat Engineering Unit. And Ariya Sha'er, 36 years old, from Yavne. May the memory be blessed. We'll start with updates about the attacks in southern Gaza. Ro'i Sharon, the reporter, is saying that these attacks are aggressive, they're unusual, and it is ground that Israel hasn't touched yet. So this is new for Israel. And we've heard for the last few days that from the chief of staff and from the defense minister that Israel is going to, the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, is going to enter the ground troops for ground maneuver. We don't know if it's actually happening already or it will happen further into the night. But the aerial attacks are happening before the combat soldiers, the infantry moves in. This story is about the emergency room in the hospital near Khan Yunis. We see what we think is senior Hamas leaders, maybe 1 or 2 that are injured, and they have bodyguards. That's why they think they're senior ones, but it's hard to identify them. The ones who are bringing them to the hospital, trying to cover their identity. Policemen come and try to violently kick the people away. So it's probably a senior leader that was injured, but we don't know for sure. This headline reads Te'ud, documentation, the hard and deadly encounter that happened in the northern part of the Gaza Strip, where 2 of the Israeli Defense Forces died. Israel Defense Forces. Here we go. This is the Combat Engineering Force. They're here where they need to be, in one of their targeted places in the northern part of Gaza. Here's the Israeli tank. And there's shooting from a terrorist towards the soldiers. And the IDF soldiers are shooting back. And in this battle, 2 of the soldiers died, but also the terrorists were killed. Binyamin Nidan and Ben Zusman were killed. The next story is told by the reporter Elior Levy, and he says the plan of Hamas for the southern part of Gaza Strip, Hamas is planning to create a crisis between Israel and Egypt by pushing the Gazans towards the Rafah crossing, which is the crossing between Gaza and Egypt. So while Hamas is pushing the Gazan citizens towards that crossing, Israel wants to be pushing the Gaza citizens safely towards the west. But this is not about what Israel wants. This is the plans of Hamas. A few years ago, in Cast Iron War, the same thing happened, and Egypt had to shoot so many Palestinians, and they put a lot of pressure, and this is Hamas's hope this time, that Egypt will put a lot of pressure on Israel to stop the war when there's so many Gazans on their border in the Rafah crossing. The next headline is about interesting things that Benjamin Netanyahu said. This evening, the War Cabinet is meeting regarding the dispute between Israel and America. There are 2 things that there is a dispute about. One is the tactical level. How is Israel fighting now in Gaza? And the second level is the strategic level. What will happen the day after? So this is about the day after. He's reminding us things that Benjamin Netanyahu said in the past, that the Palestinian Authority in its present structure will not be able to control Gaza anymore. But today he said behind closed doors that not only the Palestinian Authority will not be able to control Gaza in a new structure, but there will be no Palestinian authority in Gaza at all whatsoever. So what caused him to change his mind? We're not sure. The report is suggesting that it might be because Benjamin Netanyahu is angry on the Palestinian Authority for not condemning Hamas. And Netanyahu is not bringing the answer, so who will control the Gaza Strip after the war? Well, America thinks it will be the Palestinian Authority that will be governing it, so that's a dispute. The next story is about a summary of day 59 in Gaza, how Israel is continuing to attack. Day 59, last night over 200 targets were hit in the northern border, in the northern part of the Strip. Yes, warehouses of ammunition have been blown up by aircrafts. Also, cars and vehicles that had ammunition or terrorists in them were blown up as well. That was the courthouse in Gaza that was blown up. So 3 days since the end of the ceasefire, Israel is expanding the ground maneuver. Dozens of Israeli tanks are in the Strip. And the IDF spokesperson told Gaza citizens in Arabic to stay away from certain areas where the IDF is going to hit. Here's a Gaza citizen that says that Hamas said that Rafah is a safe place, but they were tricked and they were hit in the morning. He says all of Hamas are liars. The report is saying that Kfir Brigade is also taking place for the first time in the ground maneuver. This is an IDF soldier, an Israel defense soldier. And he says where they're fighting and where they were attacking, they're finding a tunnel shaft and a little bunker that was abandoned by Hamas. This is where they will be, Hamas would usually stand and shoot from, and this tunnel goes way deep into the ground, connecting to other terror tunnels. And the report is reminding that 3 IDF soldiers also fell during this day in Gaza. The rocket shooting from Gaza was this morning towards Ashkelon and towards Petah Tikva during the noon, and even in a school court in Petah Tikva, and in Beersheba also, but no casualties in Israel. The anchor is summarizing that this was a very hard day of battle for the IDF. And the report is saying that Khan Yunis in the southern part of Gaza, it's unusual to see it being attacked. But also in the northern part of Gaza, in 2 main neighborhoods that the IDF did not infiltrate beforehand and until now, but these are strongholds of Hamas that are very important to take control of before the next steps or stages in this war. Next is about the stories behind the 3 combat soldiers that recently fell in battle. Here's Ben Zussman's mother and his funeral. Just in July, Ben Zussman, 22-year-old from Jerusalem, was released. But the day on October 7th that he heard what's going on, he was immediately called up again for reserves, and he was very happy or glad, highly motivated to go in. His friend is saying, you were so loved in your brigade. You were first in everything. You were first for everything. How can we not just fall in love with you? You were such a great friend. And Ben was born and grew up in Jerusalem. Next is Benjamin Nidham, 19 years old, from Zichron Yaakov. This is Ben's sister saying about the last conversations with him where he's saying he's okay and everything will be okay. And he immigrated from England when he was 8 years old. And here are dozens of people holding Israeli flags in Yavne on the way to the cemetery to bury Neria Sha'ir, 36 years old, that was killed in Gaza. Here's Neria's friend that says how much Neria was a hero. May their memory be blessed. These are hard times for these families and many families in Israel. If it's on your heart, you can share your condolences and other words of comfort in the comments below. For more stories, go to All Israel News and follow us on social media and YouTube. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.